the issue right now comes down to expectations. There is clearly expectations within the market of what the fiscal supportive measures will be versus what may actually be the case. And I think it's been underappreciated, to be quite frank, that I personally believe that over the last 3 years, China has embarked on an aggressive deleveraging process that has been system-wide throughout the entire country. I have been, to my clients and even more publicly, been making the argument that Keynes is dead in China. You should not necessarily expect a massive fiscal support coming from Beijing. Clearly, I think it's not the case that there will be no fiscal support. I'm just a little concerned right now that the level that will ultimately come out, probably not until the end of the month during the National People's Congress, may have investors a little bit over their skis, as people like to say.
One of the concerns out there, and we were just talking to Fazin from Mizuho Americas about this as well, is that the PBOC, along with some of the regulators, seems that they've thrown the kitchen sink at this. It's not the big bazooka that the market was hoping for, but the boys brought out the big guns, and whether you like to call it a mini bazooka or whatever is up to you. But they seem to have thrown a lot of their efforts into this, even given that they had a very unusual Politburo last week, focusing very much on the economy. What is the risk if these stimulus measures fail to spur growth? What happens then? What do they have up their sleeves, and what does this mean for credibility?
Well, I think ultimately, and you would have seen this, I think, on your program and elsewhere, is everybody has an opinion. And ultimately, I think, to a certain extent, most of us are flying, if not blind, at least sort of half blind. And where the policy might go if the growth rate continues to slow is uncertain. But I think it is vitally important to keep in mind that right now, really all we have are monetary stimulus. And as you pointed out, it's a bazooka. I'm not a fan of that term. I've heard bazooka in China used over the last 2-3 years. But I do believe that there is a heated debate in Beijing right now over what degree of fiscal stimulus should be included. And quite frankly, the investors are, I think, being overly optimistic. And again, there's the timing issue. I cannot believe the Ministry of Finance is not coming out today, and maybe they will, with some press conference, just like the PBOC did last week. It's leaving a considerable amount of uncertainty to market participants.